turn to black shirt this time. Again, Brian Damon, external producer, also for this next team. And I was truly lucky this month. I had two great teams, two great IP sets, and both games were very playable and very fun. Nest Quest is amazing, check that out. But also, with this game, take a look at the number of different weapons, the number of different props, the number of different areas. Both the tech team and the art team came together for great feedback, and it's fun to watch, it's fun to play. So I'm going to let them talk a little bit more about it. Here comes Random Encounter.
We are Random Encounter. My name is Shiva Dionaran. I am one of the internal producers for Random Encounter. With me is Jacob Miller, the other internal producer. Our programmers, in no particular order because they're all awesome. Sean Kumar. Okay. Solid Graham. Brian Ace of Spades Bickle. Alexander Chang. Evan Combs. Our artists, in no particular order either, because they're just as cool. We got Mr. Nicholas Kippis. Put your hands up. We got Amber Potter. We got Jason Speakman. We got Joker, James Joker Williams. We're going to be calling him Joker for this presentation as well. So, okay, I'm here to talk to you about Custodial Carnage. So what exactly is it? In one line, it's a third-person zombie thrower. Okay, it's got zombies and you throw things at them. That's awesome enough, okay? So, essentially you play the role of Neil Uppercuts Stryker. And he's an ex-Marine turned janitor. No, custodial engineer. Make sure you get that right. He doesn't like being called a janitor. The kids at school, at Thurgood Campbell High School, that's where he works. They call him a janitor. He doesn't like it. So what has happened is the evil lunch lady Helga has poisoned the cafeteria food and turned everybody into zombies except Neil, because he packs a lunch every day. He is prepared. Right? What Neil has to do is go through the school, clean up the school with these zombies, confront Helga, and remove the evil menace. So to talk about the internals of this game, I'm first going to pass it off to Joker, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the art of Custodial Carnage.
Thank you. Let's do it up. Carnage, yeah. All right, I'm going to tell you about the art of Custodial Carnage. Us four artists worked very hard for 5 months to present a game that's going to look awesome and everyone's going to enjoy playing it. Here's an example of a few of the assets that we created for some of our levels. These are some assets from our science levels because lots of high school science rooms have giant Tesla coils and trees growing in the middle of them. So you can also see some examples of assets from our second level, the gym. We have tires, big old weight benches, archery ranges, things like that. What we did when we were creating the assets for this game is we really wanted to push a very distinct style and feel. We wanted to get very kind of comic booky, kind of cartoonish, but at the same time still believable. But a game is more than just the assets. We need to have characters. So here's some of the characters from our game. First, on the left-hand side, you can see our main character, Neil Uppercut Stryker. He's got a very distinct look. He's a hero. You can tell just by looking at him. Now, is a janitor really a hero? I think so. We can also see our enemies here. We have the geek, the cheerleader, and the burnout. Now each one of these has their own distinct feel, but with us deciding to really get a unified color palette, a very unified feel for what we were doing, they all look like they belong together and they're designed really well. We had a lot of fun doing them. But a character can't just be a character, they have to be able to move around and things like that. In order to do that, we use what's called our art pipeline. We start out on the top left, you can see our model and texture for Neil Stryker, created by Amber Cotter, our character artist. Basically what she does is she makes the character model. Now if you were to look at a person and you see just their skin, that's what a character model is. There's nothing on the inside, it's just a shell. Now that's all well and good, it's very pretty to look at, but we need to make it move around. So we add, if you look on the right, our rig. Basically we're just adding a skeleton on the inside, and those lines you see on the outside are the control curves that allows us to move it around and make awesome animations like the ones you see here. Animation is done by me. But you also need a place to play this game, so we're looking at the 2 levels now from Jason Spiegman, who made our top level of the science lab, and Nick Kipp is responsible for that awesome gym you see down at the bottom. Now, when we're creating these levels, we start out, you can see on the left-hand side, these are basically creating the models, figuring out the layout, figure out how we want the level to look, feel, and play. And then over on the right-hand side is the next phase where we add in the colors, the textures, the lighting, and make everything look totally awesome. But a game isn't just about the art, so to tell you a little bit about the technology that's driving our game, here's Sean Kumar.
Thanks, Joker. I'm Sean. I'm going to talk to you, now that we've discussed the aesthetic component of our game, what drives these aesthetics to create a game interaction. Well, we have our own rendering system, which includes deferred shading, animation, and just overall rendering. We decided to write our own animation system because while we were using Direct3D, we didn't want to use all of their built-in stuff because we wanted to have control over the math and optimization that was controlling our game. Additionally, we have our own scripting system, which we use to control the rate and the kinds of zombies that spawn throughout our levels. This was very convenient for us because it allowed us to tweak our gameplay and make it feel perfect without having to recompile our game. We would just go in there and change one script file, and we could change how many zombies were spawning and how difficult the game was. Additionally, we have a threading system, which is used primarily for our pathfinding. Our zombies need to find a path to the player in order to chase him down and attack him. However, having 60 zombies on the screen, for example, can be very expensive to compute pathfinding for. So utilizing threading, we were able to have multiple zombies thinking without the CPU overhead. One of the more unique pieces of technology in our game is our ricochet system. In our game, you're able to throw objects and hit zombies with them and have it bounce off of them to score cool combos. And we didn't want to use completely realistic physics for this because that would be like playing a very fast-paced game of pool, and it would just be very difficult. So we simplified the problem. Initially, we would adjust the angles that objects bounced off of things to make it a little bit easier, but that ended up being too difficult, so we went with a simpler system that you can see here in the diagram. Essentially what happens is a weapon hits a zombie, and then it draws a line between itself and all of the other zombies. And the first line it finds that isn't colliding with anything, it sets that as its new direction. So we're able to score really cool combos, which you'll see soon when we play our game. And now I'm going to pass it off to Evan Combs to tell you about what went right and what went wrong. Thank you.
All right, thanks, John. All right, so my name is Evan Combs. I'm one of the asset plumbers for Custodial Carnage, and I'm here to talk to you today about what we learned essentially over the past 5 months, and specifically what to do and what not to do, or what went right and what went wrong. All right, so the first thing that we did right was we had a boss designed initially for our game. We had a boss at the end of the game, and we got it done early. We actually implemented the boss in very, very early so that we could build the levels around her, and we could also tweak and test how the boss plays for the player. Another thing that we got done early was our pathfinding. Our pathfinding was done early, and it was done modularly, which means we could take it out of any of our out of any zombie and put it into any other zombie without much trouble at all. And the last thing that was good that we did, that we really learned is so helpful to final project teams is getting a coherent art style, making sure that all of the assets for the game look like they're supposed to be in the game together. Now, for what not to do, or rather what to do better, lighting the levels and the asset pipeline. I know NestQuest was talking about it too, with their exporting. The asset pipeline is very, very key to that's how the artists get their stuff in the game. If it doesn't work, it's bad, you know? But we had problems with our asset pipeline, specifically with our artist software not being very stable. As well with the lighting, it also caused problems because of the artist software. And the last problem we had was for our collision. We didn't get our collision done as well as we would have liked to early enough. So for almost the entire lifetime of the project, we kept changing and updating the collision, and it would break for some things and stay stable for other things. It was just not that good. So, no one really likes PowerPoint, so how about you just like look at our game? I'm just gonna hand it off to Saul now. He's gonna show us our game.
All right, how is everyone today? Going well? Excited? Here we go. We are Random Encounter. These are a couple of splash screens for the different technologies we've used in our game. This is our engine's name, Cthulhu Engine X. We're leading into our animated main menu at Thurgood Campbell. A little binder here. So we'll go into our options screen here. You can flip through pages. We'll lower a bit of the sound so you can do things a little better. Lower music, dialogue, a little less. How's that? There we go. Increase the gain a little bit, a little more. That sound good, guys? Alrighty. And hit accept, and we head over to new game. So here we got a quick little loading screen with the three aforementioned zombie types rolling around. And not too long a load screen, and here we are.
These damn kids.
Cutscene 1.
Always making a damn mess every damn where they go. What fault was that? Son of a Windex. I don't know what the damn those things are. It looks like I'm gonna have another damn mess to clean up.
And here we go with the damn help screen. So starting off, you use the keyboard and mouse to play this game. WASD or arrow keys, E and right control, and the mouse to look around. And we can close out the help screen, move around a bit, run around the room a little bit. And so you can press E or right control to pick up weapons in the environment, as you can see. You can throw weapons. There's 5 different weapon types here. There we have the dissected zombie frog. Here we got another one. Of all the weapons here, there's 3 different weight classes, light, medium, and heavy, color-coded as yellow, orange, and red lights. This helps you find your weapons and use them to attack enemies. If enemies get too close, you throw some weapons, you can actually use a mop, or broom. If you use the broom to knock enemies back, won't do any damage, but it will stun them and keep them away from you. You can take advantage of your environment to put things that will stop the enemies from getting to you, use your ranged attacks. Here we have the Burnout and Geek Zombie. The Burnout Zombie takes a little more damage, moves more slowly, but he can run up to you and do a lot more damage when he attacks you. The Nerd, however, will go and throw his brains at you, which is a ranged attack, so you still have to put other obstacles between you. So here we can use a couple of different weapons. Here we can run over to that chemical bucket in a moment. And the chemical bucket is one of our heavier weapons. It's a medium weapon, good amount of damage. With each of the different weapon types, as you can see, we throw this frog. We have different style effects, comic book style onomatopoeias, and we'll transition over into the gym. It's our secondary level. Here leading into the gym, we have 6 different weapons, this time themed around gym equipment. A couple of random things. Here we got a dodgeball, medium weapon. And based on weapons, the weapon's weight class, they'll do different amounts of damage. Lower weights do less damage, but bounce more often, which will give you a different score multiplier. Every time you hit an enemy, there's more points added to your score. And it's a couple of different strategies people like using. Here we have some one-time use weapons. So once you have a couple of enemies spawn in there, let's try and get some distance and pick up one of these bombs. Bomb is a one-time use weapon. Throw it, hits multiple enemies, stuns them for a considerable amount of damage. So we can run away from our secondary or tertiary enemies like here, the cheerleader. Again, she moves a little faster, takes less damage. But pick up, let's see, throw a bow real quick. Try and get these enemies backed up. And let's go and use the yellow pick right there. Tiny little pink weapon there. Does very little damage but bounces, hits multiple enemies. Try and use Spike Medicine Ball on this next incoming wave. Here we have our Spike Medicine Ball. It's kind of our famed strategic weapon. Does a considerable amount of damage, usually one that kills most enemies. There we go. And let's do a little more damage. And we're getting kind of stuck in the corner here. Now, when you take too much damage, you want to try and get enemies into a corner, run away, and run over to these water fountains. Use water fountains to gain back your health. But keep an eye out, because on the mini-map, you can see there's a lot of enemies coming up. And that's usually the idea. You need to keep moving. Keep running away. Make sure you don't get too close to enemies, because they will corner you, and those cheerleaders will surround you and do a considerable amount of damage. So in here we also show off a lot of the lighting, a lot of the style of the game. If you look at different banners and posters on the wall, things like that. Ooh, get some distance away from her. Aww.